What is up, adventurers? We have some exciting news that came out of World's Closing Ceremonies the other day, and I want to cover it a little bit. We'll probably start doing a little bit of coverage for various things, TCG, Pokemon Go, just general Pokemon news. It'll pop up here and there, maybe every 2 weeks or so. But this is a pretty big one for the Pokemon trading card game. They announced what's next for Scarlet and Violet, and we are getting lowercase EX Pokemon back. And that's important because that means evolving EXs, not big EX that are just big basics like GXs and V cards. So it was announced at the closing ceremonies at Worlds, and the last time we saw this was Generation 3 lowercase EX, and that ran, I'm pretty sure, EX Ruby and Sapphire to Power Keepers. To put that in perspective, I was in middle school with the last time we saw this. So it's been a good while since we've seen this. Should add some diversity to the game, and let's talk about the cards themselves a little bit. So first up, we have Koraidon and Miraidon, who are the two box art legendaries. They redacted a lot of stuff out of here. Let's be honest straight out the top. HP's gone, typing's gone, weakness is gone, retreat cost is gone, and there's no stage 1 or stage 2 in there that it evolves from anything. The art's great, the card style's awesome, I love the popping out of the art style. What we're expecting of Scarlet and Violet, it's going to be a game based around the terrestrial phenomenon, and they look like gems. So, first up, we have Miraidon EX. Has the ability Tandem Unit. Once during your turn, you may search through your deck for up to 2 basic blank Pokemon and put them onto your bench. And so that's a nice ability. We don't know what type of Pokemon you'll be able to search for, but it's there. It also has Photon Blaster. Photon Blaster is 220 damage, and then you can't attack the next turn. 220 is nice and meaningful because those are your basic Pokemon V. That's kind of the magic number, right? So we'll see if that's the right number, if there's anything we get to boost that. Koraidon EX has Dino Cry. Dino Cry essentially does the same thing. You may search for basic energy instead of basic Pokemon, but your turn ends. So little less good. We did see this with Zacian V, which has seen a lot of play, and people don't mind that in the beginning of their setup. But yeah, getting energy and accelerating energy never hurts, and it could be a real good setup card. Wild Impact, 220 damage, can't attack your next turn. So maybe not attackers, but definitely great setup cards. One big note that I want to talk about is the missing pieces from the abilities. Again, it has attached 2 basic blank energy from your discard pile to your basic blank Pokemon. Is that going to be the typing? I don't know why they would redact the typing. We have a general idea of what their type is going to be, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Is it going to be the basic terrestrial Pokemon where, you can attach directly to those, and it's going to be an engine for getting those up and going, because that's going to be the gimmick of this generation of the card game? Who knows? But the good news is we did get a little bit more information. We did get to look at some other EX cards as well. So, 3 stages of EX cards is what's really important here, where we're looking at Mimikyu, Lucario, and Magnezone. Looking at Mimikyu EX, it's a basic EX, which is nice, so no evolving, no nothing. It's got 190 HP, which looks low for what this next generation of cards is going to be. Mimikyu V was 160 HP, which was really low, so we're guessing that 190 is going to be really low for EX cards as well. Other than that, we didn't really get anything with Mimikyu EX. Doesn't look like Fairy type's coming back, so we're staying with Psychic type for Mimikyu. HP for basic EXs, maybe 170 to 230-ish, 240-ish maybe? We'll see as it goes, but again, they're probably going to be relatively low. I'm thinking they're going to make you evolve into anything substantial going forward. So, the other one we have is Lucario EX. Lucario EX is a stage 1 with 260 HP, and that's almost V-Star big. for stage 1, that's pretty impressive. V-Stars max out at Arceus is 280. So there's a lot of opportunity for potentially thicker stage 1s, which will be super helpful. The one note that I do want to make here is rotation in early 2023. We are technically losing Evo Incense. I'd be shocked if they don't have something like Evo Incense that's going to come along, because we did get rare candy reprinted in the Pokemon Go set, so I'd be shocked if there isn't something to search out your Stage 1 evolution Pokemon for EX era that's coming up. As far as attacks and stuff go, all we get is a little 60 off to the side for Lucario, not much there. They were really highlighting the Stage 1 aspect there. I'm guessing that Stage 1 EXs are going to go maybe up to 300-ish, depending on the type of Pokemon and their HP threshold, so we'll see how that goes too. Magnezone EX. Stage 2 with 330 HP. That is huge. We're talking our biggest VMAXs that we've seen before. The VMAX that was shown off in the trailer at last year's World was, or not last year's World, whenever Sword and Shield came into play. That was Stonejourner, and that was 330 HP, and that was like the top of VMAXs. So if we get bigger than 330, which I'm guessing we will because Magnezone isn't the biggest, we're going to see some big Pokemon, and they're going to be tough to take down. So we'll see. We did get attacks here that we get to look at. So 1 Lightning Energy Crash, 50 times damage, 50 for each energy attached to all opponents' Pokemon. Great attack, that's what you like to see. 1 energy, nice low energy cost, and essentially even if your opponent decides they're not going to attach energies because they want to avoid getting hit with an energy crash, well then, you know what? Then you're winning anyway, because anything your opponent's doing to slow themselves down is a win for you. Other attack is 2 Lightning Energy Pulse Launcher, 220. Again, that magical 220 number, 30 damage to yourself. 30 damage to yourself doesn't matter. Galarian Moltres V does 190 and 30 damage to itself. Nobody cares. Galarian Moltres sees a bunch of play in Dark decks and initially has a Mew counter, so it's going to see play. We're going to see a lot of it. So, it's one of those things where it's going to get to a point, size is going to get bigger, attacks are going to get stronger, new era, new meta, you guys know how it goes. But there's some things to talk about. What does this mean for our ability? You see Riolu pop up, and it's going to give some opportunities for evolutions to have some variants. You can go right into a regular Stage 1 Lucario that's a 1-prizer instead of that EX 2-prizer, right? All these EXs are 2-prize cards. So you have choice now. You can go into a Stage 1 that's a 1-prizer or a 2-prize, which is nice. Playstyle variance is going to be really nice and different in this next era, which is going to be awesome. So, the next thing we need to talk about with these is, what is the terrestrial Pokemon EX, what is that dynamic going to look like in the game? We saw what VMAX looked like. V-Star, doesn't really relate to Sword and Shield and how it happened, but VMAX is very much correlated to Dynamax. So what's the correlation here? My personal preference that I've been looking at as an opportunity for the way they're going to do terrestrial Pokemon is that you're going to have an EX Pokemon, and then in some way, shape, or form, they are going to assign a new typing, new attack, new ability to it in one way or the other. Looking at the Pokemon Company, they like to reuse things and just make them better. And one of the best things that they could reuse that didn't get a good run were Pokemon Break cards. Break cards came out in the XY era. You put them on top of the existing Pokemon and they gained a new attack or a new ability, whatever it may be. This makes sense, putting it on top, potentially like the crown that we've seen that pops up when they do their terrestrial forms in Scarlet and Violet. And so at that point, you slap a crown on top of a card or whatever, type changes, you gain a new ability, you gain a new attack, whatever it might be. The only issue I see for this is if you have a Stage 2 Pokemon like Magnezone, and you go to Terrestrial Phenomenon, and you got to add another card on top. you're talking multiple turns to get to Magnezone plus that final step. That's the drawback I see with going the break route, but I think the break route will be very fun. It adds a new card to collect, and it makes things continue to be interesting in the collection and the competitive phase. Again, there might just need to be an item to get you there. The other thing that was brought in during Gen 3 of the trading card era was Delta Species, one of my absolute favorite series that came around in Pokemon trading card game. You got an electric Feraligatr here. The one thing that I would think would be different if they went this route is the weakness. Delta Pokemon kept their original weakness regardless of their type change. I think that would change with terrestrial Pokemon. You know, we may see a normal EV card, a water EVEX, a fire EVEX. You may see a bunch of different ones like that. The one downside I see to that is just too much printing of too many cards, making sets that are too big even bigger. Yeah, but I'm extremely excited for all of this. Bringing back the EX series is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to really refresh and invigorate gameplay style for the TCG. The variants and options of evolutions and what you could do is just really exciting. So, you know, like and comment on the video. Let me know what you think about the EX era being back. Let me know what Pokemon you'd like to see an EX card of. We talked about Arcanine Break in the video. Hasn't seen a ultra rare card since that Arcanine Break. Poor Arcanine, great Pokemon, needs to get some love. Go to our Facebook, follow us on there, and see what's up there. We always post stuff as we adventure. But for you guys, have a great rest of your week and keep adventuring out there.